In the light of consciousness, all sorts of things happen, and one need not give special importance to any. The sight of a flower is as marvelous as the vision of God. Let them be. Why remember them and then make memory into a problem? Be bland about them. Do not divide them into high and low, inner and outer, lasting and transient. Go beyond. Go back to the source. Go to the self that is the same whatever happens. Your weakness is due to your conviction that you were born into the world. In reality, the world is ever recreated in you and by you. See everything as emanating from the light, which is the source of your own being. You will find that in that light there is love and infinite energy. See what you are. Don't ask others. Don't let others tell you about yourself. Look within and see. All the teacher can tell you is only this: there is no need for going from one to another. The same water is in all the wells. You just draw from the nearest. In my case, the water is within me, and I am the water. The body appears in your mind. Your mind is the content of your consciousness. You are the motionless witness of the river of consciousness which changes eternally without changing you in any way. Your own changelessness is so obvious that you do not notice it. Have a good look at yourself, and all these misapprehensions and misconceptions will dissolve. Just as all the little watery lives are in water and cannot be without water, so all the universe is in you and cannot be without you. God is only an idea in your mind. The fact is you. The only thing you know for sure is here and now I am. Remove the here and now. The I am remains unassailable. Examine the motion of change, and you will see. What can change while you do not change can be said to be independent of you. But what is changeless must be one with whatever else is changeless. For duality implies interaction, and interaction means change. In other words, the absolutely material and the absolutely spiritual, the totally objective and the totally subjective are identical. both in substance and essence. The main point to grasp is that you have projected onto yourself a world of your own imagination, based on memories, on desires and fears, and that you have imprisoned yourself in it. Break the spell and be free. See the imaginary as imaginary and be free of fear. When you look at anything, it is the ultimate you see, but you imagine that you see a cloud or a tree. Learn to look without imagination, to listen without distortion. That is all. Stop attributing names and shapes to the essentially nameless and formless. Realize that every mode of perception is subjective, that what is seen or heard, touched or smelt, felt or thought, expected or imagined, is in the mind and not in reality. And you will experience peace and freedom from fear. Even the sense of I am is composed of the pure light and the sense of being. The I is there even without the am. So is the pure light there whether you say I or not. Become aware of that light, and you will never lose it. The beingness in being, the awareness in consciousness, the interest in every experience, that is not describable, yet perfectly accessible, for there is nothing else. When you realize that you are the light of the world, you will also realize that you are the love of it, that to know is to love, and to love is to know. Of all the affections, the love of oneself comes first. Your love of the world is the reflection of your love of yourself, for your world is of your own creation. Light and love are impersonal, but they are reflected in your mind as knowing and wishing oneself well. We are always friendly towards ourselves, but not always wise. A yogi is a man whose goodwill is allied to wisdom. First words, then silence. One must be ripe for silence. Unselfish work leads to silence. For when you work selflessly, you don't need to ask for help. You just do what needs be done, leaving success and failure to the unknown. for everything is caused by innumerable factors, of which your personal endeavor is but one. Yet, such is the magic of man's mind and heart that the most improbable happens when human will and love pull together. Work on, and the universe will work with you. After all, the very idea of doing the right comes to you from the unknown. Leave it to the unknown as far as the results go. Just go through the necessary movements. You are merely one of the links in the long chain of causation. Fundamentally, all happens in the mind only. When you work for something wholeheartedly and steadily, it happens, for it is the function of the mind to make things happen. In reality, nothing is lacking and nothing is needed. All work is on the surface only. In the depths, there is perfect peace. All your problems arise because you have defined and therefore limited yourself. When you do not think yourself to be this or that, all conflict ceases. There is no such thing as a person. There are only restrictions and limitations. The sum total of these defines the person. You think you know yourself when you know what you are, but you never know who you are. The person merely appears to be, like the space within the pot appears to have the shape and volume and smell of the pot. See that you are not what you believe yourself to be. Fight with all the strength at your disposal against the idea that you are nameable and describable. You are not. What do you know about yourself? You can only be what you are in reality. You can only appear to be what you are not. You have never moved away from perfection. All idea of self-improvement is conventional and verbal. As the sun knows not darkness, so does the self know not the non-self. It is the mind which by knowing the other becomes the other. Yet the mind is nothing else but the self. It is the self that becomes the other, the not self, and yet remains the self. Reality is the ultimate destroyer. All separation, every kind of estrangement and alienation is false. All is one. This is the ultimate solution of every conflict. As long as we imagine ourselves to be separate personalities, one quite apart from another, we cannot grasp reality, which is essentially impersonal. First, we must know ourselves as witnesses only, dimensionless and timeless centers of observation, and then realize that immense ocean of pure awareness. Time and space are like words written on paper. The paper is real, the words merely a convention. The mind creates time and space and takes its own creations for reality. All is here and now, but we do not see it. Truly, all is in me and by me. There is nothing else. The very idea of else is a disaster and a calamity. That which does not exist cannot have a cause. There is no such thing as a separate person. Even taking the empirical point of view, it is obvious that everything is the cause of everything, that everything is as it is, because the entire universe is as it is. Self-limitation is the very essence of personality. But you are universal. You need not and you cannot become what you are already. Only cease imagining yourself to be the particular. What comes and goes has no being. It owes its very appearance to reality. You know that there is a world, but does the world know you? Realize that you are the eternal source and accept all as your own. Such acceptance is true love. Having never left the house, you are asking for the way home. Get rid of wrong ideas, that is all. Collecting right ideas also will take you nowhere. Just cease imagining. Reality is neither subjective nor objective, neither mind nor matter, neither time nor space. These divisions need somebody to whom they happen, a conscious, separate center. But reality is all and nothing, the totality and the exclusion, the fullness and the emptiness, fully consistent, absolutely paradoxical. You cannot speak about it. You can only lose yourself in it. When you deny reality to anything, you come to a residue which cannot be denied.